Yeah. 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 So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge. They don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like. Wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because their agenda's a disguise. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifted. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
Hello, everyone. It's Pam Esquire, also known as your law intellect. We are not going to be on here long, but I do want to welcome everyone. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining us, and make sure you hit that subscribe and like button. And if you've been here before, I appreciate all of the support with the platform. Now, straight to the business at hand. So, I got a question from one of the intellects about if I saw the information that I guess got posted related to the government or the state trying to revoke Young Thug's probation. So I'm thinking something radical has happened for them to want to do that. But then I actually read the motion. Your girl IS made it back into ink. I have never seen someone aside from academics who can find their way in some type of a pleading, getting into some type of being a part of just some shenanigans. Like at some point, all publicity just is not good publicity, but whatever. So yes, y'all favorite Bible lady has made it again into a pleading related to this Young Thug motion, and her post was actually attached as one of the exhibits. So we're gonna get right into it. I want you guys to go ahead and hit that like button, like I said, and all of that good stuff, because yeah, this is crazy. Just staying in stuff, right? So this is the state's motion to revoke. They waited till 8 o'clock. Okay, they waited till 7. Y'all see that 7:48 p.m. They waited till 8 o'clock to file this. All right. So comes now the state of Georgia by and through the undersigned council and moves this honorable court to immediately revoke the probation of defendant Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug. The defendant has demonstrated a blatant disregard for the law, the safety of witnesses, and the integrity of judicial proceedings. The state submits that the defendant's continued presence in the community under probationary supervision presents a clear and present danger to public safety and undermines the rules of law. But y'all got to see what the state is talking about. At this point, they cannot be serious. Now, Madam DA, I've been sticking up for you. I don't like people disrespecting you. I know you worked hard for your spot, but the stuff you referring to some posts, like y'all, you got to cut it out seriously. So here's the background. On October 31st, 2024, the defendant Jeffrey Williams was sentenced to probation with conditions that include no contact with the victim and the victim's family. The defendant pled guilty, and the conditions of probation were imposed pursuant to OCGA Section 42-8-35, which authorizes courts to establish and enforce conditions necessary to protect the public and uphold the administration of justice. Since sentencing, the defendant has engaged in conduct that directly threatens the safety of witnesses and prosecutors, compromises ongoing legal proceedings, and warrants immediate revocation of probation. Let's get into escalating threats and witness intimidation. Investigator Marissa Viverito, remember we heard a lot about her during this whole trial, and it was a situation with Kayla bumped us in the hallway. It was just so much drama connected to this case. But yeah, she was a part of this case. Everybody knew who she was. They were floating her picture around on who she was. Um, so it was no secret of who she is. But anyway, she's currently testifying in a multi-defendant gang unaliving preliminary hearing, which remains ongoing and is set to reconvene on Monday, April 7th, 2025. During this hearing, the court explicitly ordered that the witness not be shown on television while testifying. Despite this order, a known blogger deliberately violated the court's directive by posting on social media, quote, "She doesn't want to be shown on screen. Well, here she is," along with the photograph of investigator Viverito. This is what we doing now? Like, come on. Let's go. So then, let's go to this exhibit right quick before we move on. Exhibit A. This is the post. Viverito's testimony footage, the footage everyone's been waiting for. So she did, like, looks like on the cover, she did block her face out. Looks like she tried to redact it. But I mean, at this point, everybody know who. If you've been following this trial, then you know what this lady looks like, because she's been all over the internet. I'll just look at that. I'm just saying. Hold on. So they have her post. Then they have, let me see. Slow this down a little bit. So then Young Thug, I guess he reposted it. Biggest liar in the DA's office. So this is Sylvia and Young Thug. All right. This is their post that is causing the crux of this motion. Let's go on. On Tuesday, April 1st, 2025, Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, amplified this act by reposting the image with the caption, "Marissa Viverito is the biggest liar in the DA's office." This post quickly went viral, amassing over 2 million views, with thousands of comments and retweets, many of which included direct threats to investigator Viverito and her family. So what they are saying is, because he reposted and called her a liar, and because he has a huge following, many people have reposted it several times. And just like with any post, you really can't control what other people do and say under their posts. Some random people, I guess, have been retweeting, and they've also threatened this lady. And so they want, I guess, Young Thug to basically be held accountable for what other people decided to say once he retweeted what Sylvia posted. So these are the alleged direct threats. As a direct consequence of these social media posts, Viverito's home address and her parents' home address were publicly posted, exposing them to grave danger. So they said, see Exhibit A. I showed you what those posts were. One post stated, quote, "If the hate is really real, then pull up on her mama crib," alongside a photograph of her mother's residence. That's in Exhibit A. Hours later, an additional post emerged threatening the assassination of DA Fonnie Willis. The escalation from targeting a testifying witness to making a direct death threat against the elected DA of Fulton County is grave and unprecedented attack on the justice system. But he's not the one that said it. You guys, I hope my internet lasts, because it's storming really bad where I am. So, pattern of intimidation in court. See, what has happened is, let me tell y'all what's happening. What's happening is, because obviously this case They kind of became the laughing stock because of how this case went. And they're looking for, and this is why all of them need to be careful. They're looking for reasons so that they can have, because they're not happy. That whole trial was an embarrassment. Let's just be clear. They were the laughing stock. People weren't looking at the county as if it was oh, here they go with another RICO. Now every RICO people think it's not legit. You know, some people are thinking that way, and it's had people side eyeing that whole county, okay, and the whole office. So now, because you mad about it, because they came after the prosecutors and talked about them, then they talked about, you know, Madam DA. These guys better be careful. All of them that took these see, that's the problem with probation. It's a lot of people that don't want to take probation for these very reasons, because they can try to define things in a way that you sneeze dang near it's a violation. So it's going to be interesting to see how Brian Steele decides to respond to this one. I think YS has that person as the thumbnail. Yeah, I showed the exhibit. I'll go back and show it again. Okay, so this is not an isolated incident. It is part of a calculated campaign of intimidation, harassment, and misinformation designed to undermine the legal process. Social media has been used as a tool to manipulate public perception, spread misinformation, and instill fear. This tells you all you need to know in this one sentence. These efforts has also included attempts to exploit the court's perceived stance of disdain toward the state by referring to Your Honor as YSL Whitaker. The ongoing manipulation of public perception through social media is intended to obstruct justice, silence witnesses, and threaten those who enforce the law. So this is their legal basis for revocation. Under OCGA section 42-8-34.1, a court may revoke a defendant's probation when they engage in new criminal conduct or violation that threaten public safety. The defendant's continued associations with individuals actively involved in witness intimidation, threats of violence, and obstruction of justice constitute a clear violation of probation condition. So who is his? So they're saying that Young Thug is associated with individuals who are actively involved in witness intimidation. So are you talking about Sylvia? Because you can't be talking about all these random people. Who are you talking about? Who is this a continued association when he retweeted what she said? These actions mirror the established tactics of criminal organizations as defined under OCGA section 16-15-3, which are designed to instill fear, silence witnesses, and interfere with judicial proceedings. As a direct consequence of these actions, law enforcement resources have been required to provide security in response to the escalating threats and intimidation. Georgia courts have consistently upheld the revocation of probation for conduct that endangers witnesses, obstructs justice, and threatens public officials. Failure to act decisively will only encourage further attempts to threaten, harass, and intimidate those involved in this case. The state asserts that not addressing this matter directly with the defendant would fail to serve as an adequate deterrent given the gravity and escalating nature of these threats. Furthermore, as both the defendant and this court acknowledged during his plea and sentencing, the defendant wields significant influence over people worldwide, amplifying the potential impact of his actions. So him retweeting and calling her a liar apparently is like, I don't know. I'm so confused right now. What in the world? Guilt by digital association. Auntie Eva, maybe. Yeah, I guess. The words of other people made the threats, right? Yes. He said he called Viverito a liar. That's his perception of who she is. He feels like she's a liar. She got caught up with in some things on the stand. And so that's what you do things that's opposite. That's what they call a liar. When you don't tell the truth, that's what they call a liar. So that's what he said. And then after retweeting the post from Sylvia. So I guess I'm trying to so they're saying because the court knows he has influence, I don't think he was directed that he could never talk about the case, can never talk about his experience in the case, can never talk about the judge, can never talk about the prosecutors. I don't know. This is interesting. You say Sylvia do anything for clout and clicks, doesn't care who is hurt. Well, she knows that when you mention Viverito because of the big basically when she took the stand, it was a lot going on. I think I started watching a little bit then because I wasn't really following it. So she was one of the major testimonies, and they were talking about how she got caught up in some things, then about what happened to the watch, and I mean all type of stuff when it came with Thug. Then it was the situation in the hallway where apparently she doesn't like she was watching social media and allegedly Kayla Bumpus said something about her when she tried to confront her in the hallway, and they cussing each other out. And that became a big thing all over social media. So she was a part of a few, incidents that kind of went viral. But I guess I'm not connecting how he has to be responsible for what everybody says. That's not clicking for me. So he just can't talk. He can't go on social media because anything he says, first of all, people watch the trial. And Brian still can say that. People watch the trial for themselves. They watch the cross examinations, they watch the impeachment, they watched it for themselves. So they have their own opinions of them if they watch the case. I don't subscribe to people going to people's houses and putting their families on there, but I don't subscribe to that, period. I think doxing is wrong on any level, whether you're a witness or just a regular person. I think in Georgia, they're actually trying to pass and make it a felony for people that dox people. I think it was in the legislature. I don't know how far it went. But so yeah, I don't believe that that's okay regardless. But I'm not understanding how he can be held responsible for what other people said, because the threats that they're saying didn't come from Thug, it came from other people. KK Scorpio said, I just think he should not have commented or retweeted at all, being in the situation that he's in, just in my opinion. I agree with that. I think wisdom would say stay away from it. You got out, you didn't have to have probate. You got on probation. He rolled the dice because he let the court sentence him. He got time served for the time he was in there. He's able to travel every time he does motions to try to come through Atlanta because he's supposed to stay out of Atlanta. He's been able to do that. Most of the motions he's tried to get little leniency and flexibility, the court has given it to him. So I agree. I think all of them should have wisdom, because the way the media and the public perception was related to this case, people, you have to look at it. When Madam DA, when Fonnie Willis was rerunning again for her office, her opponent used the YSL trial almost as the talking point. And Thug's father, remember, was basically promoting her opponent. And a lot of her talking point became the YSL trial. So this was a big deal, and how it was handled and how the case was going and how long it was taking with the first judge. Then you had an actual attorney end up being held in contempt and told he got to go to jail for weekends. It was so many things going on that the whole world was watching. It wasn't even just the country. It was the whole world was watching this case. And so I think there's a level of embarrassment. And so any opportunity they get where the average person they may not pay attention to, they're going to pay attention to every single thing these guys do. So it's not wise to get on here and have anything to say. I wouldn't even talk about them. But hey, that's just me. I'm sure he'll get advice from his attorney. But and at the end of the day, the client's only gonna do what they want to do. It's up to them at the end of the day. You can only control so much. So I agree with that, but she's paying for that camera after she had live in the car and asked dad about him not being able to tape. So she took Sonya over to Jeffrey's place. Messy waits. Girl, I don't even know what you this is, I don't know what that's saying. It's kind of broken up. Heather said, but Pam, isn't this action typical? The laypersons get the short end of the prosecutor's stick. 90+% of conviction rate. Probation is an opportunity, a second chance. Probation, when you have like diversion programs, I think it's worth it, where you're on a diversion plan for like 2 years, and then after that, if you complete the classes, because some people need to go get some classes and learn how to act civilized and get some anger management, or if you're on alcohol or drugs or whatnot, you may need some help, and the courts may be the one that does it for you. I'm not like totally anti probation, but the way they do it in Georgia, putting you on probation for 9 years is like ridiculous. Like, that's crazy to me. So for 9 years, you're on probation. It's people on probation longer than that. So they'll give them like 30 years, 2 years served, the remaining on probation, like like deferred while you're on probation. So you got 20 years probation. I mean, eventually you're going to slip up. A lot of people slip up on probation, and that's just the way to keep you on it. In my opinion, it keeps you on paper, and it's very difficult to successfully complete with all those years. Like I said, a year or two, that's something way different, but 9, 10 years, that's crazy. And then even with him, they show him on, going to these basketball games. Everywhere that Thug goes, the cameras are going to be there if he's out in public. So the eye is on him, and he just has to be careful. The other ones that we didn't really know who they were, maybe not so much, but I think they should too, because they were a part of this YSL. And it's not over. Like, I think there's still more people that they still have the remainder of the defendants. This was just the first ones that went to trial. Christine said, but Pam, he can't say how he feel because he's on probation. They in their feelings. The viewers could have just agreed not to take it further. I agree. I think he should be allowed to say how he feels. I think you're right on that. It's not about what he should, and I don't think it's anything that should stop him for how he feels. What I'm saying is that when you know how big this went and how embarrassed that office was, I just wouldn't even give them anything. Sometimes you got to take the butt away. I just wouldn't give them anything that they can even try to file. Of course, he's going to fight this. Now this is about to be another motion where all the cameras is going to be in there. We're going to have Brian still going hard in the paint. And it's just more content now. It's like, for a lot of these people that's been twiddling their thumbs since YSL stopped. And that's part of what's going on. Some of these people, a lot of their content was YSL. And she was one of them. Where YSL became one of the biggest things that got her numbers and got her subscribers and all of that. And so, yeah, when she felt like she had the opportunity to talk about Viverito, she knew she knew people that were involved or interested in the YSL trial were going to watch what she posted about Viverito. They are definitely going to keep her out of the courthouse. She's been, what is that like? She's already had her Rule 22 where they pulled it and they told her she couldn't be in the courtroom recording. She had to go she could stay in the media room. So they kind of pulled part of it. I think it was like partial. That was the thing with her and Dennis. She's already been arrested during the YSL trial. That was that whole situation she had with Dana. And she has that case going on, I guess. I don't know if that's what's the conclusion, if it is a conclusion to that. So she's had a few incidents. She had a situation in the Nesto case where Dana came up to the Nesto case, and I guess it was some situation and she was asked to leave or something because of that. So why she's consistently, I mean, I guess it's only so much you can do to keep the public out, but you know what, AK? But she is the one still going to count every day. This is not her fault. Going to court every day. This is not her fault. Stacy, that first twin, said the difference between a person not on probation, Sylvia, and a person on probation, Young Thug, is jail sentence, so he needs to chill. Yeah, but when you start throwing around words like you're associating with people to intimidate, so when you look at things like the situation with Milagro and Meg Thee Stallion, remember Meg Thee Stallion sued Milagro for defamation, and partially she was saying basically Milagro was hired almost to harass Meg Thee Stallion, and that it was based on posts. Now, one of the things she did get dinged on was a repost, or she sent people to watch some deep fake video. But that statute in Florida is very specific. If you promote it, you could be on the hook, even if you didn't actually make the video. So bloggers have to be careful too. That's all I'm saying. And then, you have an association with this father. They can try to do that same connection that you're out here doing because Thug don't like them. So you're out here trying to promote the same thing. So you do have to be very careful. That's why when it comes to media, whether you're a blogger or whatnot, I get it. Certain blogging, you're biased, but this is what I don't like about even being put in the same category as YouTubers or bloggers, because you have to have, to me, I think you should have some type of integrity in whatever you do. And you should try to at least present both sides and be unbiased. But the way this goes, it's like people get cool with somebody else, and then no matter what, right, wrong, or indifference, they're just going to ride for them even if they're wrong. And so then you have us against them, and you really don't have the real picture of a lot of these cases because of it. Just imagine if she was the only one reporting on the Nesto case, and it wasn't a me, it wasn't a Bougie, it wasn't a Nyla. We didn't have a phone calls from prison, and she was the only one reporting, and it was her and Sonia. Like, I don't know. Thank you, Pam. That's all I was saying. This could be similar to the Tory situation. That's from Nurse Rabbit. I'm just saying the Tory situation this is what ended up happening. This is the crux of it. For those of you that don't know, it was a blogger who has a nice following, Milagro, who, regardless, we were sitting at the same trial and she still didn't see things the way I saw them. Everything she saw was favorable to Tory, and Tory was getting off and all of that. And people were getting mad at me, to the point where now, when this lawsuit came out, people started apologizing to me that I never even knew hated my guts, because they did not like me because I was reporting as I was getting the information because I was sitting in the courtroom. I didn't know Tory. I met his family and they were nice people while I was there. I met a lot of people connected to him while I was there, but I didn't know them like that. And I literally just went into court and I retained the information and I brought it to you all on the platform as I was getting it and as I interpret it as a lawyer. And it was don't listen to Pam. I didn't even know all that was going on, that there was actually people told not to listen to my commentary. I was newer with getting on YouTube, so it wasn't like I was gonna see 20,000 people unsubscribe or something, because I probably didn't even have 10,000 subscribers, so it didn't matter. But I didn't realize how this goes. But yeah, it was after a while, even after he was found guilty, there was still people talking, and basically it's the same premise. Because she has a large following, a lot of people were harassing, according to Meg the Stallion, people were harassing her based on what Milagro and her crew were saying. So you have to be careful. Like, they're not playing with bloggers like this anymore. They're not doing it, and they're using long arm statutes to reach you whatever state that you're in. It doesn't matter if you don't live in a certain state or whatnot. They don't care. If you harm someone in a whole nother state, the internet goes all over. So there are ways to even pull you in outside of your state where you live. So you have to be careful. Like, I get it. People make good money, doing this, if you do this consistently and do this every day. But none of that matters when you have all of these followers. But then as soon as you get sued, you got to do a GoFundMe. You don't got the money to be talking and yapping your mouth the way that you yapping it. You don't have it. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. That's all I'm saying. So to any bloggers, along with all the defendants that were in the Young Thug, like, be careful, because they're not happy with the way this media is. And they basically said it in here, how it's been the public perception. They even call her YSL Whitaker as if she has some type of affinity for the defendants or something. Like, you can tell by the tone of this motion that they are sick and tired of being sick and tired of all y'all out here on the internet talking about them in their office. So let's finish this motion up. Georgia courts have consistently upheld the revocation of probation for conduct that endangers witnesses, obstructs justice, or threatens public officials. Failure to act decisively will only encourage further attempts to threaten, harass, and intimidate those involved in this case. The state asserts that not addressing this matter directly with the defendant will fail to serve as an adequate deterrent given the gravity and escalating nature of these threats. Furthermore, as both the defendant and this court acknowledged during the plea and sentencing, the defendant wields significant influence over people worldwide. Need for revocation. The integrity of this court and the safety of those involved in this prosecution are at stake. The defendant's probation should be immediately revoked to prevent further harm, ensure compliance with the law, and send a clear message that witness intimidation and threats against public officials will not be tolerated. But he didn't threaten no public official. The state urges this court to take swift and decisive action by revoking the defendant's probation and remanding them into custody without delay. So they want him to get revoked swiftly, like tomorrow, and then have him go right back to jail. He needs to go to prison. He needs to go to prison. What do he need to go to prison for, Pam? According to them, for sharing this post from infamous Sylvia. Viverito's testimony footage, the footage everyone's been waiting for. Mm-hmm. This mug only got like 3,000 views by April 1st, yesterday. Child, they acting like this mug had a quadrillion views, but I guess because he reshared it. So then this is what Young Thug retweeted. It said biggest liar in the DA's office. And then as y'all see, it was retweeted from him 916 times. It had 363,000 views, 9.5K likes, and 263 comments. Okay, let's see what this one says. All my homies, it's another retweet. So no, somebody replied to Young Thug, said all my homies hate Viverito. And they showing her and they blocking her face out. But all of these pictures, they went around on the internet when the trial was going on. So I saw most of these pictures before. Okay, what else did they put? Oh, they got the biggest liar in the DA's office. He put it on Instagram too in his stories. Looks like. Then somebody said, dumb ass used to live at altitude and got my Airbnb shut down. And put up a middle finger. If the hate is real, really real, then pull up to her mama crib. So then somebody it looked like you need to go find Mikey, day 100. It say sold. Is that really the house? I will personally make sure Fonnie will. Oh, that's from Daredevil season 4. Y'all need to go after him. You guys got some forensics over there. Y'all need to go after these people that think, because they certainly can find them. Trust me. They can get to them IP addresses and find out who you are. So that's the one about Fonnie Willis. And then this is him, I guess. Well, I appreciate it, and I appreciate that you do realize how much of an impact you have on people. I mean, it's past your neighborhood, it's worldwide, especially young people. So they use this to show that he knows that he has influence on people, and this is the court when he was sentenced. That's what the court said. So you hear that? My sister says she coming from y'all for y'all if you didn't hit that like button. Let me see what Trump had to say about Madam DA, Fonnie Willis. Trump on Fonnie Willis. Because we need to pull them all in there. Trump files appeal to remove Fonnie Willis from the election. Trump's attorney responds. Trump opposes DA Fonnie Willis's bid to rejoin Georgia. Georgia's petition for cert. Trump says Fonnie Willis inappropriately injected race. Let me see what the AP press says. Lawyers for former President Donald Trump said the DA in the Georgia election interference prosecution should be removed from the case, claiming she inappropriately injected race into the case and stoked racial animus in response to allegations of misconduct against her. Not the DA sparking any type of animus. Let me see. Let's pull this up here. Defense attorneys Steve Sado and Jennifer Little filed a motion Thursday joining an earlier effort by co-defendant Michael Roman to have Fulton County DA Fonnie Willis, Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade, and their offices thrown off the case. Ashley Merchant, a lawyer for Roman, filed a motion January 8th accusing Willis of having an inappropriate romantic relationship with Wade that resulted in a conflict of interest. Willis has yet to respond publicly to the allegations. This is like an old article because remember, she did get kicked off the case. Well, the Court of Appeals kicked her off the case. So what ended up happening, for those of you that don't know, the judge in Fulton County was like, your office can stay on the case, but if you do, then that means that Nathan Wade has to go. And so, of course, they appealed it. Ashley Merchant and them appealed, and the Court of Appeals was like, "No, you got to go. Somebody else, your whole office needs to go." And so now they're trying to take it to the Supreme Court because Fonnie Willis wants to stay on the case. Meanwhile, although she testified that her and him hadn't been together in like 8 months or whatever it was when she testified, they have all of these pictures and stuff of her, I guess, going on vacation with him a couple of weeks ago. So I'm just saying, we can't sit up here and be sitting in glass houses and throwing stones. Like that's not. Well, I just can't wait for Brian Steele's response because he's gonna definitely have one. He's gonna definitely have one. Let's finish this out. I think we just had a conclusion. That's it. We just at the conclusion here. Let me see. In conclusion, wherefore the state of Georgia respectfully requests that this court schedule a hearing to address, immediately revoke, or modify the defendant's probation as it deems appropriate, order the defendant to reimburse the costs incurred by law enforcement for the additional protective measures necessitated by their actions, and to impose any further sanctions necessary to safeguard the witnesses, prosecutors, and the integrity of the judicial process. So that is the motion that was filed. And what y'all think? Kelly said this is ridiculous. That part said, I can't wait for Steele to respond. Has the Bible lady said anything yet? Has anybody heard if she's had anything to say? Yeah, sometimes it's best, Annie, to just hush. But I get it. Sometimes too, you don't want people to try to stifle your freedom of speech. Because he didn't really say much, but I guess they saying don't say nothing negative at all. But I mean, they accused him of a whole lot of stuff in an indictment. They said a whole lot of things about him in the court too. It's just people believe the defense more than they believe the state. That's really what happened. Mammy Fresh and Silly Saham went on Big Jeff's show talking bad about Fonnie Willis in the DA's office. Now Mammy Fresh posted that image. Please throw her out of the courtroom when she show up. What was she saying over there? Talking bad about her. Well, I know why her homegirl would be talking bad, because her boo is locked up. But I had high hopes for Fonnie in the Trump case. I feel let down. That's from Christine. Me too, Christine. Because the bottom line is, on that case, we seen audio, we seen footage of the person coming from Chicago, I think what used to be the PR for Kanye West, talking to the lady, having her go down to the precinct, basically telling her we trying to help you out so nothing happened to you, and all of this and that, and trying to like they had a lot of good little information, and she blew it all because she wanted to kick it with the special prosecutor. I'm just saying. Victor Vale said this is just the DA's office wasting their money and resources by being petty. That's what it sounds like to me too. Call Me Darling said, will Thug's family feel like IS set him up with that post? Well, no, he didn't have to retweet it neither. She did it obviously for the clicks and the views, and she knew people cared about this case. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much, Lady Ella, for the super chat. She said, thank you, Pammy Pam. Shadi, thank you so much for being so generous with the super sticker. I appreciate that. Tanya Lee, thank you for being a member for 10 months. You said, we love you, Pammy Pam, and thank you. I love you back. Shawty, thank you so much for the super chat. You said ISD's our number. I don't know, child. Y'all keep saying that, and she still lived to see another pleading. Somebody y'all been saying that for 2 years since I met the lady. I actually the first time I met her, when I first started covering Ernest Williams, and I came up there. That was the first time I had went to Fulton County, and she was out there. When I went in there, they were like, "He doesn't have a hearing today." They never brought him over, I guess, to have the hearing. They had postponed it, but didn't put it on the docket. So that was the first dummy mission I went on, where I flew all the way to Georgia to that case, and that's when I met her. And she was nice. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, "Well, I'm going to go back downstairs to the Young Thug." I'm like, "Okay, good meeting you." And then, she was pretty cool a few times after that. And then I tried to remain neutral when it came to her. And then I just couldn't anymore. I was like, okay, she's like super messy, mixing it up with the Lord. She want to pray 1 minute, cuss you out the next minute. Then when the whole Sonya came, I realized she was just a person that wants to kind of get the edge on the next person, regardless to how. So it was like, let me get cool with Sonya. Oh, she's gonna come on my platform, and just kind of trying to get into that lane. Then that lane started getting a little sticky because remember, Nesto was trying to stop us from being allowed to record. And one of the reasons why, this is when I brought Dennis in, one of the reasons why we were able to go over that objection, that first objection they did, is because by that time she had started seeing Ernest, going to see him at the jail. So the court basically said, you availed yourself to the media. So how you going to sit up there and now all of a sudden you don't want them there? So that was the reason why recording was allowed, because she went because he was checking her, because she was going up there to see him and visit him and pray with him and do the scriptures and all of that. Then it was another time her name ended up in a bunch of pleadings too. And it was a few times that she ended up in some pleadings. So yeah, I knew a long time ago that I needed to like separate from that. Cause thank you so much, Miss V, for gifting the 5 memberships. I appreciate that. I really do. That was so kind of you. She wanted to portray herself as media and doesn't think she has to observe the rules or operate with journalistic integrity or ethics. Well, hey 504, good to see you. I ain't seen you in a long time. That picture is just, I can't with this picture, girl. Thank you so much for coming on over here. I missed you, sis. I don't get her. I really don't, and it's not for me to get. She like plays the it's always me. I'm always in some mess. Ha 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 ha. Then it's everybody else. It's not really her. Just one of them throw your rock and hide your hands type, and just do things with integrity. She did go into Fulton County, and she's garnered relationships with people. I'm not even gonna say relationships. She knows people. She's cordial to people. They speak to her and all of that. She makes her way into talking to people, and she does what she needs to do to try to get a little bit of the inside track. She gets in good, like how she was with Woody, and but you see how fast with the Kayla Bumpus situation, how that went to the left. Because Kayla thought they were cool, and then she got that information about Kayla being married, and she was holding it over her head, and all of that stuff. So yeah, she is who she is. At the end of the day, it's about self, and however self-preservation, and then she throw God in there as a crutch. So yeah, I hear you, sexy Irene. I'm just, folks need to be careful because her name has popped up way too much. And for her to be described, and this is what did they describe her as? During the hearing, the court explicitly ordered that the witness not be shown on television while testifying. Despite this order, a known blogger, so they called you a known blogger, deliberately violated the court's directive by posting on social media. So they saying you deliberately violated the court's directive. So, and then to go see the language in this should have her a little nervous. You know what I'm saying? And then to say the defendant's continued association with individuals actively involved in witness intimidation, threats of violence, and obstruction of justice constitute a clear violation of probation conditions. Who are you talking about? Because Thug can't help the people that follow him. So who else are you? You can't be talking about these random people. Who are you actually talking about when you say his association with individuals actively involved in witness intimidation, threats of violence, and obstruction of justice? It's the lack of fear people have for me. Thank you, Christine. I appreciate that. I appreciate the live dialogue. Thank you so much for the super chat. Y'all help me understand. She ain't got no fear. If the judge said don't post the lady, then why are we posting the lady? And then we take it down. Let me look on did my phone die? My phone died. I was gonna get on Twitter or X and see if but I can't because my phone died. Do I got my other phone? Hold on one second. This the Erica King phone y'all made me buy. Let's see if my Erica King phone is charged. Shoot, that ain't charged either. Shoot, can't nobody call me. Okay. So if I have any cash apps, I have to shout you guys out later because both of my phones, my Erica King phone is dead, and my main phone is dead too. If you know, you know. Patty said, "IS said they like her at court. They talk to her, but they also have things to say too. No one is messing with IS in that way. She may be a giver, but definitely not a receiver." So, okay. So YouTuber user, thank you so much for your investigative. This is investigative YouTuber user intellect. Sylvia has 2 videos of this lady on her YouTube main and backup channels. I can't. Let me look her up right quick. I could do YouTube on here. Let's see. Sylvia, she doesn't even come down my timeline. That's how much I don't. Oh, she on live now talking about breaking news. The legal paperwork says what? She on live right now. She need to cut it out. Oh, she does got that lady's whole face on here. She does. Wait a minute. Let me pull it up for y'all. If she can't read, they'll be there for 5. You know what? It's a pretty quick. They're not saying much in this motion. They ain't have much to say. So those are the videos. Do she got the lady's face though? I don't want her striking my channel if I have her stuff in there. Let me look and see. Hold on. So when she's showing the testimony, does she actually have that lady's face? And the court said you ain't supposed to do that. Let me see something. Oh, somebody is on her. Miss Sylvia is hilarious. Vivarita don't want her face shown during testimony, so Miss Sylvia plastered a pic of Vivarito's face on the screen. So she must have been like while the lady was testifying. It looks like, hold on, let me show y'all. It sounds like while the lady was testifying, maybe she just put her picture up there. Because somebody in her comments got Miss Sylvia is hilarious. Vivarito don't want her face shown during testimony. So Miss Sylvia plastered a pic of Vivarito's face on the screen. So maybe she just had it up there. Yeah, it looked like maybe she just had it up there and she was so she don't look like she showed her face. I mean, maybe she didn't like show her face while she was testifying, but the fact that she put it on her thumbnail, I guess, is the problem they're having. They should. Wasn't she reprimanded during the trial for recording someone's face and she wasn't supposed to? I'm not sure, Sexy RN. Silverback will be banned from that. Y'all say that all the time, and she be right there 7 a.m. in the car going on her hour hike or whatever her hike is, recording herself. Y'all ride with me to court. You would think she got a position at the court as much as she there. She should be on salary. I'm not going to nobody's court that much unless I'm getting paid. Today, she says she has 3 master's degrees, but didn't spell Vivarito's name right. Oh, Lord, I'm not doing this with y'all. Recording herself and begging for lunch and gas coins. You can't be at you like you gotta pick your struggle. I'm just saying. Like if you why even go to the court if you don't got gas to get there? That means that you don't have the resources. See, I flew where I went. The only time I really went out of my pocket was when I started out and I was doing Tory Lanez. And my brother lives in California. So I ended up being there for like 3 weeks or something crazy. I ended up there because we had a storm in Michigan. And so I stayed for Christmas and everything. But it was because I could afford to do it. But after that, like because of you all, is why I'm able to get a videographer or go out there or whatnot. And it's times that I've driven to like New York or I drove to other places if it was close enough. But it's because I utilize the money that I get from here to bring you guys the content. It's not money for me to live off of, but I do reinvest it into the platform so you guys can get the information firsthand that you want. But if I was like, didn't have the gas money or everything was always negative coming out my pocket, then I'm not gonna go. That doesn't even make any logical sense. But I guess if you don't have anything else to do. Hey, Auntie Natty, good to see you. Miss HLS said because they think she's a little old lady that doesn't know what she's doing. She definitely knows what she's doing. I was like that at first when it came to her. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, y'all don't have to drag her. Respect her. And I'm still like that. I'm not gonna drag her like that or whatnot. But I had that frame of mind as well because she comes across, she has the soft voice and she comes across in a certain way. But when you just watch how she moves, then you know what's up. That's all, and you just move accordingly. Like I said, if I seen her the last time I think I was at court, she spoke to me. Stacy, the first twin, I think you were there. I think she spoke to both of us. Like, it's not no ill will. It's just I don't rock with you. That's all. We not eating no sandwich at lunchtime. We're not sitting next to each other unless they make us do it because there's no room in the court. Like, we really don't have conversations. But speaking, yes, I don't have no beefs with her. It's just I don't like the way she's moving. The way she moves, and she's just not my people. That's all. She makes me have the worst thoughts. Well, no, we're gonna rebuke that, Thessie Jewel. Don't have no worst thoughts. Jesus is not on her main line. Here. Welcome back, 504. We missed you. We missed you, sis. He said, "What's beef to a cow?" I'm not. I can't. Did you guys hit this like button? Make sure you hit the like button. I didn't plan on coming on live. If you see my hair, you would know why. Because I took them little braids out, so my hair is all over the place. And I didn't want to become a meme. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we have to do it podcast style right now. Fulton County prosecutors need to find better things to do, like maybe find a way to try all these people who have been in jail for years. And sexy RN, CCRN, that's a word. I agree with you. There are way too many people in jail. I know y'all can't stand Nesto. I know you can't. However, he has been in there for a mighty long time. And speaking of Nesto, let's take a quick Nesto break.
And another thing you notice, the first thing they say, make sure you guys hit that like and the subscribe button. That's what it's all about. After they get them dogging you out, before they dog you out, that's the first thing they say. If you like this video, make sure you hit.
You have 1 minute remaining.
So yeah. He's been in there for a minute. He's going on 3 years. Uno, dos, tres. He's been up in there. He has 2 cases that are still unindicted. 2 that are unindicted. I think they're waiting to see how the court rules on the suppression, on how they're going to move forward, because that could affect one of his cases. And we don't know what's up with the alleged victim, if she's around, if they've been in contact. I don't know. But the way they have it is, I believe if it's a felony, they have up to like 4 years to indict you. And if it's a misdemeanor, then I think it's 2 years. Let me double check. Georgia. Yeah, in Georgia, the court has 2 years to file an accusation in a misdemeanor case and 4 years to indict on a felony. Ain't that crazy? I don't care. That's still just crazy to me. Crimes punishable by death or life imprisonment. Prosecutions must begin within 7 years for crimes like armed robbery, RAPE, or kidnapping. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. And of course, there's no statute for, unaliving someone. He better keep slow and slow out of his business. Listen, I don't know. I don't know, y'all. You said he's fine. He deserves, I understand, but if it was your family member, regardless to whether, when it comes to a lot of these women, and I think hopefully tomorrow I do want to go over like those motorcycle cases with the Olivia chick, and then it was the other one. They both have motorcycle cases that kind of overlapped, I guess, one scene one with the other. And those were some of the evidence, that some of the exhibits that was attached. And I told you guys I have to go separate on some of them because it was so long. So I do plan on doing that. sometime this week. But when it comes to Nesto, April 30th, he has a hearing. For those of you that don't know, it was pushed up from June, and probably, well, it's the final plea is what it is. And it's probably because his attorney, who is one of the most hardest working defense attorneys apparently in Fulton County, because and other counties, I'm gonna say Georgia because he works in multiple counties. He's actually a gang defense, like his specialty is gangs. And I knew that when he took the Nesto case, that he usually deals in gangs. So, and a lot of those are connected to RICOs. But he has a big case coming up that they expect to be at least 3-4 months. And so he had to put in a notice to all of the different courts to let them know where he had cases that he's going to be busy. So I think some of the courts are probably trying to see how many they can resolve or move up, because if he is the experienced person and he is the head attorney, anybody will want their head attorney to be the one that's present for crucial parts of their litigation. So Kelly said, I think he has a great defense. I do too. I think Sean is doing his thing. When he did that motion to suppress, it seemed a little whack at first. And then after he started, when I actually seen the hearing, I was like, hold on, he might got something here. I was like, wait a minute. So yeah, he's doing his thing. I think he's done more work than those paid attorneys that Shirley paid for. I think it seems we can see the work that he's done, and he probably isn't getting nowhere near how much the attorneys that Shirley paid for got. Y'all, you think so, Muffin 218? You think so? I don't know. I think this is what I think. I think that Nesto is gonna wait to see what he can get dismissed, which will give him better leverage. He's already done 2 years. Now, if he gets the RICO dismissed, because that's the one with the most, consequence, if he can get that RICO up out of there, and then get, a couple of those where maybe the RICO isn't connecting and gets the suppression and somehow connect some of that stuff and get rid of some of these counts and be in a better position and like plead to some of it, and that would be time served, and he knows it's going to be time served. Yeah, I believe so. But if they're saying they want him to do like some real time, I don't think he's going to plead. Like if they won't let him out but for him doing real time, as far as like pleading, then I think that he's not going to. He's going to roll the dice. Because he does believe, because when you look at it, I know you guys hate when Sonia says it's civil. But when you look at the Olivia case, I think that's pretty much what the police were saying, is they felt like it was a civil matter based on the information they had. The other motorcycle case that he had, Delaney, that was trying to get the warrant that the court denied, I think they tried to say it was civil with her, and then they made it that she filed a false police report because it was just they had an agreement and it went awry. So some of this stuff, they may try to go that route and make it seem like these were just, but again, a lot of civil stuff does cross over into criminal. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes. Because I don't see Shirley, like Shirley testify, I'm going to be there front and center. Listen. For her to talk about what she knew and what she didn't know. And what's getting me on some of these documents, though, with Shirley as well, is that these police have tried to contact her on a couple of occasions that I saw in those documents. So how far do we say that we don't really know? Like, if they contacted her, did she just ask Nesto, well, who is this? Why did they call about that? And Olivia, she said she knew she met Shirley. So some of these people actually met her. So, like, how far are you gonna say you did? I didn't know. I had no clue. Like, did she just ask him and he would give her an explanation and she just took his explanation? It was gonna be curious. So I think that's the only way we're gonna really know what Shirley is thinking is if she's under oath. You know what, 5? Listen, they might make us take tickets or something. Well, I'm glad I got a Rule 22, so I should be all right to be able to record it. So I should be cool. But all y'all can't be coming and making overcrowding the courtroom. And then they like, no, only some of you guys can come in. And leave some in the hallway. Real said, I agree with you about Nesto. He gaming, but he's not a good gamer. And that's on the book of Job. Yeah, call me darling. It's someone with a motorcycle too. We'll go over her though. I don't want to go over her tonight, and ruin my content, because ain't nothing happening in these streets right now. So I bet you do. If you are RN, you definitely take good notes. I appreciate that. Christine said, now, do you think she would jeopardize her job? I don't think so. Sorry. I didn't say that she participated. What I'm saying is when you look at some of these documents, she was aware, like the police were contacting her, is what I'm saying. One time, the police said a document we read, the police said they came to her home and she said he wasn't there. There's no way the police are going to come to my home and ask about my husband. I'm not going to say, yo, Deb, why is the police up here at my door? Like, I'm going to ask questions. And then once he give me the answer, I'm going to ask more questions. And then once he give me the answers to those, I'm going to get on my laptop. Then after I get on my laptop, I'm going to come back with more questions. Because I just want to know. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that it wasn't the truth. Whatever he told her wasn't true or believable. I'm just saying that I'm going to ask, it's going to be a thorough interrogation before I let it go. And I still might bring it up 30 days later. I still might bring it up. Hey, sis, good to see you, really, B. Yeah, I got some late night YSL shenanigans. You know how they do over there in Fulton. You said we gonna have a bus coming from the DMV. Listen, we probably should. If we actually had a solid trial date, we probably could like plan something because it'll probably be in the summertime. So we probably could plan something to meet up or whatever. I know the young lady who had Hazel, who has like the whole body butter and all of that. We were talking about at one time meeting up there because they have the parties there and you can make your own body butter and oil and all of that. And her stuff does smell good. And that's, for those who don't know who Hazel is, she had her own story related to, Nesto that she alleged as well. Ty said, my theory is he chalked it up to a misunderstanding about that title on the RV and Nesto would be gone and out of reach often. Well, yeah, we know from the phone calls that she said he wasn't hardly home. He said that he was going to be home more. Plus, she has a job that probably took her to different states as well. But then you have Erica, who basically said that he picked her up every day and ran her errands with her. So I don't know. I don't know what to believe. Dan Yojic says Shirley admits to playing dumb. Yeah, she has some great products. Great products. he might have told her they were messing with him because he is an ex-con. Just Mill. Yeah. And it may have been some validity to it. Sometimes they do. She said that a few times. Just because that's your past. What does that have anything to do with it? And it's true. There are a lot of people who have a past and they're not who they used to be. They were younger at that time. They were scared straight. They realized they're not about this life. And they've gone on to have great productive life and been law-abiding citizens from that day forward. But then you have others who just can't get past the hustle. As long as Shirley's friend is great. See, Shirley knows what's going on. You think Gary was like, girl, Shirley, let me tell you what I heard in them streets. 504, good night. Thank you so much for joining us. We really, as always, appreciated your humor and your contribution to this here chat. Thank you. Thank you so much, friend. Fonnie is questionable, and yet the citizens keep electing her. They know what's going on in Fulton County. Yeah, she got reelected, but she didn't have the person who ran against her. I wasn't feeling I don't live there anyway, so it ain't like I matter. But she literally made her whole platform on YSL. She used it as a way to, do interviews, and she started coming on some of the YouTube platforms. And she said she basically didn't have the money that Fonnie Willis had. She said she didn't have the capital. But I didn't think it was a good idea because she seemed like she was kind of being a culture vulture. And she thought this was a way for her to get into. I would be curious to see what her opponent is doing now to try to stop this type of stuff from happening, because it shouldn't stop just because you weren't elected. Hey, Shawty, you said, hi, Miss Pam, will you be covering Sylvia's court hearing this Friday? I didn't know she had a court hearing this Friday. She got one on Dana. Oh, Lord, I can't keep up. I'm actually in Illinois this weekend, so. YouTube user said, remember Dre said to Nesto that he never loved SS, and Nesto didn't say anything. SA was his next mark. I think he loved her. I don't want to do Shirley like that. That's pretty heartbreaking. You said, how is it not? That's what I want to know. Give me more information. Thank you for the super chat, but we need a little bit more information. Some of us don't follow her case at all. I got to look it up to see what county it's in, because it's in whatever county she lives in. And her stuff was like streamed last time, if it's the same court. But if you give me more information, just like I knew about this whole YSL situation because it's the Rocks 4180 told me about that. So shout out to her for giving me the YSL information. I didn't even have it. She asked me, did I see it? And so I looked it up. So shout out to her. Let me see if I could. I don't even remember where YSL, where Sylvia. Let me see. TRO was in February. All this stuff was in February, right? Oh man, no, that's something else. She filed something against him in federal court. Let me see. Stalking. What county was this in? Let's see. Y'all gonna have me going down this rabbit hole. No, Newton County was the one before where he first got, because they've been going back and forth apparently for some time. But No, it's not for Clayton. That's it. Thank you so much. Okay, let me go to Clayton County. That wasn't even at the tip of my tongue. Do you hear me? So I know I need to go to bed. Name search. Now I gotta figure out how to spell this lady's name again. Let me see. Sylvia Tumasimi. Does she still go by Tumasimi? Is she not married anymore, is she? Tumasimi. T-U. Hold on. T-U. See. Oh God. Why does she have more than bound over pending? Okay, here it go right here. So count 1 was trespassing, count 2 was stalking, count 3 was stalking, count 4 harassing on the phone, count 5 harassing on the phone, count 6 conspiracy to communicate something. Okay, so she got court the 4th for a pretrial status. Is she supposed to go to trial like on Monday? Is that what that said? Let me show y'all what I'm looking at. Let me show you guys what I'm looking at real quick. Always sending me on a goose chase. Okay, so this is the docket that I see. So it has 9 o'clock on Friday for a pretrial status. So that's just usually you just kind of know what's going on and all of that. So is she scheduled for trial on Monday? So she's not even available for the rest of the preliminary examination that Madam DA is talking about. She busy. She busy on Monday. She's not going to be there anyway. While she talking about the preliminary examination and the case that this whole motion was brought to try to revoke Young Thug's probation, that continues on Monday. But it looked like she might be busy. Hey, CC, good to see you. I'm glad you caught us, but we on our way out. We've been on for an hour, and this was supposed to be a cool 30 minutes, but you know how we get to talking. Yeah, I found it. It's me. Part of the jury thought Viverito was lying. Well, he might. I'm telling you, Brian Steele's response is going to be epic. They waited till 8 o'clock to file this joint. They waited. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much for all of your love and support. Make sure you hit that good like button on the way out. And we'll be back either tomorrow or Friday. So make sure your notifications are on. Until then, if there's any videos you need to catch up on regarding, anything. Nesto, Diddy. Yes, and for those of you that were asking, I did see that new lawsuit that got Diddy and what is it? Diddy, Jay-Z was talked about but wasn't sued. Adria English, who was one of the alleged victims that filed a lawsuit against Diddy. This person has sued her in this lawsuit. They're naming a whole bunch of folk was in here. They were saying was a witness to it, but they're not necessarily defendants. Interestingly enough, an attorney did file this lawsuit. However, they also filed for him to go pro se. So I don't know if this attorney had some type of limited representation where they agreed to just start this guy out, but now he's asking permission to proceed pro se. So the whole lawsuit is wild. Apparently, TMZ has already dug up a couple of things that show some inconsistencies because I guess it allegedly happened at one of the kids' parties or something. And they had him walking around with some type of face of a private part like replica on his face. And it was just wild. These cases are getting wilder and wilder. So I just can't talk about everything, especially those type that I look at it and it just and you know, sometimes things happen and they are unbelievable. So I don't want to make it seem like just because your stuff is wild, it just can't. But when you have like TMZ or somebody who does articles and they've already found inconsistencies, I just don't put any old thing out there. Like I saw something about some lady who was suing TD Jakes and 50 Cent and just crazy. And she's pro se. And all I did was read it. And I was like, child, this is just wild. I'm not even going to talk about it. But she's representing herself and she sued them, talking about TD Jakes allowed 50 Cent to stalk her. And I told you guys about these people before. I was like, especially in like New York and California, it's a lot of people that file lawsuits all the time. I think that now the world is getting a snippet of the court system because of how it's being streamed and YouTube and all the people that's doing commentary on court cases now, that people have more of an interest. But that is not a new phenomenon where you have people that just file wild stuff that have a lot of issues that's going on. And I think they believe some of the things that they say. So when it just seemed too far off the wall, I'm just not even going to discuss it and continue to spread like allegations that just don't even appear remotely to be true. I'm just not going to do that. But that's just my preference on my platform. I know a lot of people, they're going to discuss it because when you mention certain names, it's clickbait. People want to hear 50 cents. People want to hear if Oprah Winfrey. Some people want to, you know, if some certain names, the buzzwords, they know it's going to bring traffic. So, but that's not what I do. So if it's not anything that I'm like, oh, maybe something to this, I don't really talk about it. Also, if you don't follow me on Instagram, please go do that. Follow me on Instagram. I did talk about Eric Adams. I was going to do a video this morning, but I got caught up and couldn't do it. But Eric Adams' case has been dismissed with prejudice, which basically means the DOJ tried to it looked like they were trying to quid pro quo, be able to dismiss it without prejudice so that they could hold it over his head. The judge basically saw through it and was like, no, if y'all going to dismiss it, you're going to dismiss it with prejudice where you can't bring it back. So he's basically free and clear right now where they can't even bring it back. So them sitting down with his legal team and sitting down with the DOJ and all of that and coming up with this plan, and they were trying to have conditions and contingencies. The court was like, nah, that's not how the rule works. Either you're not going to prosecute, period, or you're going to prosecute, you're going to continue with this case. So now he's not beholden to our president or anybody else. And it probably was a deterrent mechanism just in case that was going to be a new thing that they were going to try to do. If politicians or somebody got indicted, they'll be like, oh, yeah, dismiss it without prejudice. So we'll make sure you do what we need you to do. So that might have been, a way for the judge to try to deter, because the way the status of this country is very interesting on how it's moving. So that's that. I think that's my only update. That's all I have. You said he will not be reelected. You keep saying that. I need this kind of power. I don't know what I'll do with it through because I'm not a criminal, but Yeah, child, been on for an hour and a half on my way to get out. Good night, KK Scorpio. On my way off of here, I've done 5 dismissals like a preacher. Okay, I've said I was leaving about 5 different times, and then I came back like, oh yeah, it's something else. Since I came on, let's talk about this. But I'm off for real. You guys, I hope you have a great night, and I'm gonna holler at you next time.